Communication Speech 3 for Dr. Hassard's class. Here are the note cards I've prepared. And my audience member will just step in front since the camera's already situated. How many of you here today have ever had any experience with the doctor's office or a hospital? The chances are most of us here have had some sort of interaction with a doctor or a hospital, or even simply some sort of medication at some point in their lives. The pharmaceutical industry is the cornerstone for modern medicine, and we can thank it for saving countless lives today. I, for one, am grateful to be around in a time with such advanced medicines and medical practices alike. Unfortunately, with such great advancements also comes corruption and money. The dark underbelly of the pharmaceutical industry is now bigger than ever. Corruption in the pharmaceutical industry can be limited by restricting their ability to indirectly influence outcomes and their financial means. I currently work in the medical field and have for several years, and I've also done extensive research on this topic that I'm excited to share with you today. So let's get started. Chances are everyone in the audience has or will have interactions with doctors and hospitals at some point in their lives. So I find this information to be very important for all of us here today. According to Parker, who wrote True Cost of Pharmaceutical Scandals, Big Pharma has many unethical practices, including kickbacks to doctors, as well as unethical disclosure of their negative outcomes from clinical trials and suppressing generic medications. According to justice.gov of the Justice Department, Big Pharma suppresses and manipulates clinical trials. Big Pharma has also paid out one of the largest settlements in history at $3 billion. It is known as the largest defraud of the government ever paid out. Also, the high price in medications is due to the fact that we are allowing medications to patent their findings for upwards of 20 years, sometimes closer to 40 years, depending on the type of patent they receive. Although we do know of lots of fraud in the pharmaceutical and medical industry today, there are some solutions that might help combat some of these issues that we are facing today. If we were to have stricter oversight and mandatory disclosure of any financial ties anywhere down the line with any medication, this may help combat some of the issues we are seeing today. If we also were to show some transparency in pricing of medications and the research that it took to fund them, we might also see a solution to some of the price gouging. Another solution might be to only allow these pharmaceutical companies patents for their medications for up to 5 years as opposed to 20. Now, they might not like that, but if you listen to the other half of that, a solution would be giving a percentage to each company that is able to buy the medication after the 5 years. So if a company created a life-saving medication that had a compound in it that everybody might benefit from, we should only license the patent for 5 years, and then thereafter they're able to license their patent out to other companies and receive the residual income for the foreseeable future. If we were to encourage this practice along with generic pricing, this might help combat some of the issues we're seeing today. Imagine a world where the pharmaceutical companies were held to stricter standards as far as full transparency went. Imagine if we were able to easily access clinical trials and see exactly what they were funding, how it was funded, and what the reactions from medications were. If we made medications more affordable through generic options, that will also help make medications a more competitive area. Now that we understand all the corruption, I believe we should all demand transparency. If we imagine a world that keeps on the trajectory we're headed right now, we would be in the same space we are, only much worse in a very near future. But if we were to demand transparency and better licensing, as well as less lobbying and all the things that we see now, we may have a future with less corruption and fraud in the medical industry. I know that this is possible because I've seen different areas that this has been practiced in, and it has always ended great if we hold people accountable for their actions. In conclusion, I believe we must all do our part to make sure that we help combat the fraud in the medical and pharmaceutical industries to ensure that we all have a brighter future for tomorrow. Thank you. Here are my notes. And my audience member will step in front again.